Oh, hey boys. It's me, Queef Latina, or Queen Latifah, whatever the fuck her name is. This is going to be a... Oh, is it a sorceress? Is it an enchantress variant sorceress? Yes, it is, boys. But this time, this is going to be your boy, self-proclaimed world first lightning bow sorceress. So I feel like this is a very unique combo of bits of gear as well as skills, and I think some of you boys are going to get a kick out of this. I did want to keep testing this, and I'm not super happy with where this currently is now, but I thought it's definitely good enough to throw out there, and I'm keen to see what you guys think. So please leave some criticism down below, because I want to put more work on this and see if I can take aspects of it and move it into other builds. But enough bullshit. I'm definitely going to go stats, skills, gear. See what Ellie boy is doing, and then we'll fucking slap into some fucking gameplay, boys. Eh? That's how we do it. So what do we got? We have strength is 106, not too high. It is a little bit higher because I wanted to wear a bow and Visagi because it looks lit, boys. So you can definitely save stats there and put like a great helm or something. I don't care. Whatever, you know, whatever. Dexterity is a little bit higher. Now, what we're using is we're using a mist in the main hand. So I'll get to this in a second. So there's 3 bows that have the same attack speed base, which we can use. I chose Diamond Bow because it has the least, like one of the lowest requirements for dex. So I threw that in. But either way, you know, along with the low requirement for dex, it does have low strength, which is more important. Well, either way, we're putting extra points into dexterity because we need that attack rating. So it looks pretty low now, but once we're, you know, out in action, we're getting Alley Boy's blessed aim, you'll see that it's a bit higher for sure. Now, due to our skill points being a little bit restricted, I've put some excess into Vitality, so we have base value up to 80, and as kind of most of your sweaty crafted builds, boys, most of that life, as you can see, is actually coming from all of these skillers and things like that. So, there you go. The rest is going to be pumped into energy, just like your standard energy shield Sork, and then fucking Bob's your uncle, or Billy's your uncle, whatever takes your fancy. So, going over to advanced stats now, we can see clearly increased attack speed is through the roof. Fast hit recovery, I believe, is at the 7th frame, so not too bad. Further down here, boys, we can see 100% pierce, which is coming from your boy, Mist, Runeword, and then lightning skill damage is pumped through Jack to the tits, mate, at 482 from Lightning Mastery. So I did mention we had restrictive skill sets, so what I'll do first is we'll cover the lightning tree and then we'll go over the rest, right? So this looks a bit different. Now the reason why this is a bit different, boys, is because we're amping up the synergy for lightning. Oh, Billy, why are we amping up the synergy for lightning? Well, boys, we are using Mist to pierce 100% of all our attacks because we want to be proccing these motherfuckers down here, which is Dual Wisp. So Dual Wisp, having 2 of these, gives us 20% chance to cast level 16 lightning on striking. That's what we're going for. So, back to the skills, right? So lightning, it does have Charge Bolt, Nova, and Chained Lightning as synergies. We want to just pump all of those out, honestly, because we want to maximize that damage. So Charge Bolt is maxed out, 1 into Static into maxing out Nova, and then 1 into Lightning just to max out Chain Lightning, and then maxing out Lightning Mastery. So that doesn't leave us too much. My character is level 99, so luckily I can afford to, you know, fill in a few extras on the other trees, but you don't necessarily have to do all of these maxed out, but here's the rest that I do have. So I maxed out Telekinesis first, just to reduce the ratio to Energy Shield, and then we have 1 point into Energy Shield, so we can buff that up a little bit higher on Switch, which we'll get to when we get to gear. 1 into Teleport, as you normally kind of see, boys. Now, fire spells, I have just 1 here just to get to enchant because I couldn't be fucked using like Demon Limb or something or swapping out. You know what, I'll put 1 to benefit from plus skills just to get whatever attack rating bonus we can get. Cold spells, I got 1 into Frost Nova, which I like to use, you know, occasionally on melee builds, and I do have Frozen Armor. Don't end up using to frozen. I don't fucking. Who even listens to me anyway, boys? Even I don't fucking listen to me. Shall we go over gear? Shall we, boys? Now, as I stated, we're using the Mist rune word. 100% pierce. Concentration aura is just a little bit of spice on top. We've got +3 all skills, not bow and crossbow skills. So that's fucking primo. That makes it so much more useful. Speaking of useful, we've got bonus AR, freezes target, vitality, and all res. Although Sork doesn't get as much, return per stat point investment into vitality as other characters like Barbarian, for example. We get the most bang for our buck going for energy. But, the more the merrier, as we say. Going across to lightning, speaking of this little Chad boy here, we've got Dream. So that's decking out the Holy Shock Aura. So it makes sense. You guys have probably seen Lightning Mastery is maxed out. That's exactly why. Now, for our amulet, this is the only FCR we have. I tried to fit in some more. Hence where I said at the start, I feel like this can do with a little bit more tweaks here and there. But I don't mind having the lower FCR because I enjoy the playstyle of this. So here's what I have. 220. Going over to the armor. I've got this armor here. You can kind of choose whatever jeweler's plate with the secondary mod that you want to put on there. I chose faster hit recovery, and because this one is a nice little gold tint as well, felt like it matched the theme. And with this fast hit recovery from Dream, Sandstorm here, that leaves me one spot I need for skillers, 12 FHR, to reach that 7 frame hit recovery breakpoint at 86, which is perfect on the dot. And you guys saw both of these little rings that I have as the Wisp, so that rolls up to, I think it's between 10 and 20 for Lightning Absorb as well as MF or some shit, but the rest is whatever. They're exactly the same. Now, going over to the gloves and belt here, this is my beautiful, death set. I love this shit so much, boys. You've got poison res, poison length reduced, which matches so well with melee sorceress in my opinion, because poison damage bypasses energy shield. There we go. It's kind of obligatory, isn't it? So we've got a little bit of lifesteal, which is, we don't do too much physical, but our hits are piercing, so we're going to be hitting motherfuckers, we're going to be getting life back. That's nice, boys. Now, more importantly, 30 increased attack speed, which is pretty important, so we're meeting that 2.5 hits per second, which is our cap that we can reach. Over to the belt, we've got more res, which adds up, and then we have our cannot be frozen, which is important too, because we want to make sure we're keeping that attack speed up and consistent at the highest cap of 2.5, so we're dishing out as much lightning on striking as possible. Going down to the rest of these stats here, boys. Hellfire Charm, Annihilus, we have 36 attack rating, 20 life. That is across this line here, just to give us a bit more. And then your skillers are what I showed before, with 1 FHR. So they're all lightning skillers and 40. On Switch, I've got 2 little options we have, boys. I've got a CTA and Archon Staff, which I like to use for the little BO and all of that. But there is also a memory too, so I'm a bit indecisive about which ones I want to use, but it's kind of case-by-case sort of scenario. So I've found myself using the CTA a bit more when it comes to higher player counts, so I guess just for the sake of this, I'll just keep that on there. Now, for the Mercenary, we're looking at Eth Andes, Eth Fortitude, and Eth Infini in the Mank. Eth Infini Mank, boys, eh? He's got blessed aim, so he's just an absolute Chad decking on fools while we're decking on foils. For tinfoil. So, shall we get into killing some boys? This is players 1. This is P8 viable, so I'm kind of going to work my way through and yeah, show you guys how it kind of goes, hey? So we'll bump up our enchant here, bump up a little shield, bump up the energy shield. Now, looking at the stats really quick, we've got 90, 70, so I've put more points into dexterity. As you can see, my base is reasonably high. Yeah, if you guys want to put more into dex, you can. I just felt like I needed to, and it's definitely worth the benefit. Let me change this to Frost Nova. Why not for the boys? You can see Ellie is sitting at 59. We're at 24. Alright, plays 1. Man, having just one Holy Shock, level 15, with max Lightning Mastery, it still does a really decent chunk of damage. And speaking of chunks of damage, looking at the sheet DPS again, it's 24k. That is not actually correct. I mentioned it in previous videos. Hopefully they fix this in the future, but only 1/3 of aura damage is actually applied to ranged weapons. So yeah, even if I change this to throw, like with my throw sword with war strikes as I showed in the previous build, it shows the full value, not the correct 1/3 as what it should be, right? This is a really boring start to the showcase, isn't it? Okay, everything is just dying, boys. I'm not even going to bother. Should we go straight to players 4? I think that sounds good. I suppose a nice slow start gives me something to, you know, kind of fuck with. Where should we go? Players 4, let's go to Frigid Highlands, eh? Are you guys enjoying the cute music in the background that my friend made for me? Now, as you can see when you're shooting this, the AoE of lightning, it procs where it is actually hit on the target, and lightning shoots out straight, not in a cone, just in your straight line. So, if you get a whole bunch of mobs condensed together and you shoot through, and you proc multiple lightning, and the group of mobs are all in a line, in a cluster, they're gonna get nuked. But it is pretty difficult to get them in that, you know, tight and closed space. So this does perform a little bit better in places where there is more buggers close together. Like, I guess this. Am I arrows? How do I? Oh, it's teleported in between the fire thing. So you can kind of see the lightning going off. Not too bad, boys. Speaking of corridors and shit, I think it would be good to show Arcane Sanctuary. Here we are. Should we bump up Battle Orders and Thingy again? Sure. There we go. So this is Players 4, and it's not really anything. Not really much of a problem. Just hitting single target, like a single enemy by itself, it looks a bit shitty and underwhelming. This build definitely shines where there's multiple mobs. So, if you wanted to make this and you're farming with it... Oh, let's just go back a bit. I would suggest just skipping past like the smaller ones and going for like elite packs and things like that. So, Players 4 Wraith Pack... Who cares, honestly? Aha, here we go. 2 packs here. Let's slow them down. Get a nice Pierce column. There we are. I think there was like 2 or 3 lightning. Nice. Nice. I think you guys can kind of see how it goes, hey? What I might do, boys, is because this is performing so well, I'm going to bump it to Players 8. We'll come back to Arcane, because I do want to show Arcane in Players 8, because I feel like it's a pretty good area to complement this build. But I think we can go to Spider Forest too. Oh, excuse me. These killer like mochaccino sachets thingies that I like to get from the supermarket. Oh, they are just so good, boys. Oh my god. If I had to choose like dual wisps or the little mochaccino sachets, I'd probably go with the dual wisps, to be honest. They're that good. Hang on. Can't do AoE lightning if the cunt just teleports away now. You know what? Let's buff up again. Holy shit, he's fast. My god. So this is Players 8, boys. This is Players 8. So with our lightning that's proccing, remember that's 20% chance at level 16, and that is fully amped, fully synergized. Taking my sweet time, aren't I? Is it an elite here? It is. I can still use static if I want to, but I'd rather just show... I'd rather not use static, because I like seeing exactly when the lightning does proc on a mob that I have like covered with my cursor. And I feel like it's a bit better to show you guys that too. Oh, hello. Not too bad, boys. Hey? Hey! Hey! Woo! Hey, Billy's made another P8 viable, wacky, bloody off-meta build. How crazy is that, eh? Let me buy some arrows, because I usually forget. But remember, boys, if you want to make this, you can choose your base for your helm. You can make it in a crown if you want. You can also change this. You can make it in like a blue base. I think I have one. Here we are. So that's what a blue base looks like. So you could run around, boys, and you could look like you could look like this. You could run around like a lightning sword and look like that. So you can kind of choose. And I really like builds that have that opportunity to choose a base that looks like nice. Because there's no transmog or anything in this game. Like, looking at the chest here, this one is slightly more darker in gold than the straight standard base. So that's why I kind of went with the hit recovery one. I like the look of it. So, just finishing up on players 8, I think it'd be good to finish off an arcane, as I said. And then, yeah. Should we buff up again, boys? Why the fuck not? And then Energy Shield is up. By the way, Energy Shield, it's only level 20 with all of our plus skills with +1 into it. And I felt like that was enough. Like, we're barely sitting at 75, and I felt like I'm like, okay, that's the minimum I can get away to save as much points as possible to maximize that lightning proc damage. So we are at players 8. I'm just going to show the children at home. They're like, oh, Billy, players 2. No, it's players 8 here, okay? You can see. You don't need to count. You just need to read integer values on the screen that YouTube man says to read. Now, okay. Oh. I like that glow the energy shield kind of shows off when you're standing in a wall of fire. It's amusing to me. Boring. Here we are. So it's 2.5 attacks per second. We can't really get higher. Well, I mean, we could, but you know how it is if you've looked into a build with, like, not so reasonable attack speed frames near the higher end. You have to sacrifice so much. And that's one thing I do enjoy about theory crafting, boys, is like you got to kind of figure out where is the, you know, where's that middle ground between meeting like your idea for like your concept for the build and like functionality and just all the things to keep in mind. We're trying to get it to function right, you know? All of that to minimize the amount of criticism that you guys give me so I can hold my self-esteem as high as, you know, virtually possible. But then again, cyberbullying isn't even real. It's just turn off your computer. So I do struggle with that. Thanks for listening. This is my least favorite side of the arcane with the fucking stairs. So annoying. You know what? I'm going to tell you through here. Oh, there's some boys here. We'll kill these. And then I'll clear down the other path. So it's funny, this build, because at times it looks like, oh, you're just piercing with one dream. That's all it is. But if you get them in a row and you get lightning to proc, then you can kind of nuke little packs down. But it's kind of inconsistent. But either way, I'm pretty happy with the damage. And I think it goes to show in this video, right? So hopefully some of you boys are quite entertained by the idea. I love the idea of dual wisps. I actually, one of the first builds I shelved the wisps for was when PTR 2.4 patch notes came out. I edited my own shit on offline before the patch came live, and I was looking at a werebear with a Storm Rider axe with 2 wisps, and I was trying to deck out synergies and have charge bolt and everything go off. But I love the idea of it because I love the look of Storm Rider too. But man, it was bad. Like, the attack speed is so slow and it just wasn't functioning. And I tried to revisit it, but it wasn't really my jam, boys. It wasn't really my peanut butter, if you say that. Maybe Storm Rider is like one of those uniques I have a soft spot for. I've always liked it, and some items that I've always really liked and other people have liked, I want to try and make a build out of it, you know. I think that'd be really cool to kind of show. But not just for the sake of it. You're like, I'll just swap out any one-handed build like a, I don't know, like a Tesla or something. Because that builds like that are so strong, it doesn't really matter as much what you put your weapon, like what weapon you have on, I mean. If you guys are following me. So like, I'd be keen to find a unique case for certain uniques and items and whatnot. Let's finish off this corner here, I think. Here we go, boys. Hey? That is... what do we call it? What do we call this one, actually, boys? Do we call it the Tesla Sork? Do we call it the Thunder Boa? Hey, the Thunder Boa. I don't know. Let's just call it the Lightning Bow Sorceress. How's that, hey? Now, I'm holding this as world first, okay? So, if Dobrunsky or anything, or Cooley makes a video, or Sweet Phil, dare I say little sour Phil boy, wants to make a video, I'm going to DMCA those bastards quicker than Spider-Man can climb a 2-story building. Sounds reasonable. Anyways, thank you, boys. This was a long one, because I really enjoy the gameplay. So I think I'm going to chuck another video out of this to show more P8 gameplay in different areas, because, yeah, I think it's really good to show.